As rallies get underway across North Texas in protest of President Trump and his government policies. Several of those protests are considered, including Dallas and Fort Worth, Arlington and Denton. Across the country, we are talking more than 2,000 of these No Kings rallies planned. Again, this movement to protest of his military parade in Washington, D.C. as well, that is set to take place today in celebration of the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army. This also coincides with Flag Day and the president's 79th birthday. Now, today's rallies are staggered at different times across North Texas. People in Frisco, though, are among the first to gather today. Our Chris Sadeghi is there on the scene, sharing the turnout.
One of the first protests of the day happened here in Frisco. They got started early and they packed both sides of FM 423. They showed up with their signs. They showed up with their big cutouts of the Statue of Liberty. And in the busy street, lots of honking horns, lots of traffic, and a lot of energy here in Frisco for this No Kings rally, one of many that are planned across not only North Texas, but across the entire country. I was talking to some of the people out here why it was so important for them to turn out. They just really expressed a dissatisfaction with things going on in the country, with the current administration, with the policy on immigrants. Most of the signs reference something about supporting immigrants, standing for immigrants, and that's why they turned out here this morning. Again, this one of many demonstrations throughout the day. This one, from what we've seen, peaceful. I see Frisco police officers stationed in the parking lots to make sure nobody tries to obstruct the roadway. But a lot of energy and a lot of passion this morning in Frisco for the No Kings rally. I'm Chris Sadeghi. Now back to you.
All right, thank you for that, Chris. We also know that demonstrations are underway in Arlington this morning as we check in with our Adriana de Alba, who is there. I understand you're near the sub-courthouse, Adriana, is that correct?
I am, Mark, and pretty strong showing here. I want to get to the crowd right away and just show you because this crowd is building. If I had to guess, I'd say it's several hundred people outside of the Arlington sub-courthouse, and they are fired up. You can hear, if you can barely hear me, lots of cheers, honking horns, lots of signs. Just to read a few, we're seeing "We the People," "No Kings," "Dump Trump," "We don't want authoritarians." Those are just some of the things I'm reading on these signs. And pretty diverse age group here as well, young, middle-aged, as well as older residents that have come out in a strong showing on this Saturday. And we've talked to a few of them. Some of them have told me that they are here with their friends. They've gathered their community, and they're here to send a message. I did talk with two friends from Arlington who told me they actually are standing on different perspectives politically, but said this is different. And so they are united in this message that they're hoping to send today. And I do want to bring in two Arlington residents who came here today just wanting to share their thoughts. We have Rick and Gay of Arlington. Could you share with me why you feel so strongly that you wanted to come out today and make your voices heard?
Well, from what I'm seeing going on in the country right now, my father would be rolling over in his grave because he fought against Nazis, and that's what's running our regime right now, what's running this administration. I grew up in a country that wasn't perfect, but it was, I thought, working towards a more perfect union. This is not what's happening now. And
Rick, I want to bring you in because you said this feels personal for you.
Yes.
Tell me why.
I have a 7 and an 8-year-old granddaughter up in Bedford, and I feel like their rights are being taken away. And they're growing up in a country that we no longer know what's going on. It's really sad. So,
what do you hope? I mean, these are happening nationwide, at least a dozen in North Texas. What do you hope comes of this? Do you think anything will come of this?
I want Donald Trump to hear that there are people out here that he's supposed to be representing that he's not. We are not all Musk and millionaires. Some of us are just people who have children, who have families, and we care about them and their rights, and he doesn't seem to care about that.
Thank you so much for sharing some of your thoughts with us. So that's some of what we're hearing this morning in Arlington. We will stay put here for a while before heading to Fort Worth to see what we're hearing from folks there. But again, people as far as the eyes can see, if I had to guess, I'd say several hundred people have shown up here today. High energy, and they feel strongly that they had to be here today. But for now, I'll send it back to you, Mark. I'm Adriana Dalba, live in Arlington.
Yeah, thank you, Adriana. And I know that these protests were planned quite a while ago, several months ago. In fact, as soon as we knew that the president had planned to have the military parade in Washington, D.C., I heard one of the organizing calls the other day, and they made a concerted effort to really encourage anybody showing up to stay safe and to avoid, any kind of lawlessness. They want to avoid some of the scenes we've seen out of Los Angeles this week. Have you seen any indication of violence or things getting any rough out there?
Sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing, but I think you said, have I seen any unrest or violence? Is that correct?
Yes. That's correct, Adriana.
Okay,
yes.
I think I can barely hear, but yes, that's what you said. I'm not seeing any unrest or violence here at the moment. It is high energy, as you can see, lots of cheering, but it's pretty peaceful. People are just here practicing their First Amendment right. They are sharing their thoughts. I'm not seeing any clashing or arguing. I haven't seen any counter protesters yet. We know Arlington PD are in the area. We've seen a couple of police vehicles come by, just keeping an eye on things. But as of right now, I would say this is peaceful, and we've not seen any issues just yet.
Well, here's hoping it stays that way. Adriana Dalba reporting out of Arlington this morning. And of course, she will be on the ground there and traveling to the rallies in Fort Worth as well later on today. I know that we'd heard word that some of the right-wing extremist groups like the Proud Boys had planned some counter protests today. And as we have seen historically, there is always the potential that those clashes can turn ugly. But here's hoping that everything today goes peacefully. Now, we do know some of the other protests in North Texas will get underway soon. At 11 o'clock, rallies scheduled in Denton and Weatherford, and at noon, two of the biggest rallies, maybe in Dallas at Ackerd Plaza and in Fort Worth at Burke-Burnett Plaza. Rallies in Plano and Stephenville also scheduled to begin at noon as well. And later today, one in Burleson at 1 p.m., 1:30 in Sanger, 2 o'clock in Flower Mound as well. This is all happening as Texas Governor Greg Abbott has activated the National Guard in response to today's protests and demonstrations against the Trump administration's immigration policies. More than 5,000 of those troops and 2,000 state police on hand to help local law enforcement.
We want to make sure that what has happened in California does not happen in Texas. Texas is a law and order state, and we will use every tool that we can to ensure order across our state.
Officers and guardsmen already in San Antonio for a protest that took place on Wednesday. That demonstration remained peaceful. Mayors in San Antonio and Austin have said they did not ask for the governor to mobilize the National Guard in their cities. And we are sharing a look around the country. Here's a protest out of West Palm Beach, Florida, where marchers are already out and about. Of course, these are in response to that military parade I mentioned happening in Washington, D.C., scheduled for this evening. It is planned to mark the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army and Flag Day. President Trump also celebrating his 79th birthday today. They are expecting more than 6,000 soldiers, 50 helicopters, M1 Abrams tanks as well, possibly 200,000 attendees, and heightened security, too. Again, I mentioned it is the president's birthday, and many feel that President Trump is using that parade to demonstrate a show of dominance. There are a number of events scheduled in the nation's capital before that parade, including a wreath-laying ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery, live performances by the Army's band and drill team, and some public recognition for Medal of Honor recipients. That parade is set to kick off at 5:30 our time, followed by a concert at the Eclipse and fireworks over the national monuments. You can watch that parade right here on WFAA Plus later on this evening.